You know that meme where you've been lifting for 10 years, lifting the barbell, doing the heavy squats, doing the deadlifts, and you don't really see that much progress. But then a black guy comes in and doesn't even touch the barbell. He just looks at the barbell and all of a sudden he's jacked. Well, guess what? This is because of something genetic that happened to Africans long ago. And unless you're black, you don't have it. So get black pilled. You will never have the potential to make as much muscle as black people. That's why you see all these people super muscular. They generally tend to be black. The bodybuilders, Ronnie Coleman, Ashton Hall, of course they're roided up, but still, you see a lot of the black guys are very, very jacked. You will never be as jacked as them. So get black pilled. How black pilled do you feel? You feel sad? You feel pathetic? Good. Stay black-pilled. I totally will not reveal a secret that can steal this power from them. There is something you can do to steal this power from them. Now, you're gonna think, okay, Ali, what is this like hooky title, hooky thumbnail, hooky intro? What are you talking about? Well, let me explain, brothers. And before you click off, what information I'm going to give you is the type of information you only find in books that intellectual people read. So if you're a brain-rotted zombie, please just click off. There are 3 types of muscle fibers. There's type 1, which is basically the slow muscle fiber, the slow, almost endurance-based. This is what, like in your calves and everything, this is what endurance, like marathon runners, really, really rely on. Think of it like these very, very fibrous, muscles that are generally based and used for endurance, right? Like this is the, when you run and then it takes a while for your legs to feel sore. That is what happens when your type 1 fibers are being activated, type 1 muscle fibers. It takes a while for them to get sore. It takes a while for them to get damaged. They don't really grow in size. They're just like kind of tendony muscles that are just used or mainly used for endurance, for runners. Best example of type 1 muscles are calves, which tends to explain why they are super hard to grow. A lot of people have issues growing calves. This is why. The second type of muscle fibers is type 2A. Type 2A is basically a hybrid between type 1 and the next muscle fiber, which is type 2X. So type 2A is a mix between type 1 and type 2X. What is type 2X? Type 2X is the muscle fiber that's big, explosive, it's hypertrophic. This is the muscle that's used for like power and strength and explosiveness. They're almost like, think of a gorilla type muscle, right? The big, strong, explosive muscles like your glutes, like your chest, like strong muscles that need to fire off immediately. Let's say you're throwing a punch, your chest fires off immediately, very strong, and so do your triceps and everything, right? There's a lot of type 2 muscles in your quads, your glutes, super strong, and type 2 muscle fibers, type 2X. Your lats as well, very strong. Dominance of type 2X muscle fibers. Now here's the thing, between these 3 muscle types, type 1, type 2A, and type 2X, there's a set ratio that you were born with. When your parents came together and spawned you into this world, you were born with a ratio. You were born with a set and predetermined ratio that could not be changed. It was purely genetic. And that's the black pilling part about it. It's purely genetic. You can't really change it. And black people generally tend to have a much higher type 2X muscle fiber ratio than everything else. They have a lot more concentrated type 2X muscle fibers, within their body. And that's why it's so easy for these guys to grow muscles. They also have good muscle insertions. They're very predetermined and predisposed to be able to grow hypertrophically because they have these type 2X muscle fibers. Any black guy, most black guys, they have a way higher muscle fiber, type 2X muscle fiber than the other muscle fibers as a ratio. I won't get into why or how exactly this came to be, but just know that it generally stems from how, hunter-gatherers, basically black people, Africans, they were the first hunter-gatherers and, they're running and chasing after animals, etc., etc. We won't get into how or why this happens. We're going to get into how we can manipulate it to our own advantage. PSA, if you're a black guy watching this video, congratulations! You mogos in terms of muscle building capabilities. Here's the thing though, you can force your gene expression to change. What do I mean by this? I mean, it's almost impossible changing your type 1 converting your type 1 muscle fiber to a type 2X. You can't change the ratio, it's just predetermined at birth. But you can make your type 1 muscle fibers kind of act in a way where it's type 2X. This is how I looked like before I did this, and this is how I looked like after I did this. So how do we actually change the gene expression and make the type 1s act like type 2X for extreme muscle growth? There are 4 key ways to do this. So let's be intellectual about it then. We want to down-regulate type 1 gene expression, and we want to up-regulate type 2X gene expression. How do we do that? Well, we stop performing activities that want to bring up the action of type 1, meaning stop running. Stop doing long-term endurance-based cardio. Avoid running, avoid jogging. If you want to do a good, a proper cardio activity, the best 2 are sprints or combat sports. Do not engage in jogging like a little old lady. Do not engage in runs like a marathon runner. If you want to do that, that's if you want to do marathon running, that's absolutely fine. But if you want to, grow and increase your type 2 gene expression, then just stay away from this stuff, right? And perform actual strong, immediate, right? Like type 2, strong, powerful, explosive cardiovascular activity, sprints and combat sports. You're in jiu-jitsu, you want to quickly bridge him off of you. You're in wrestling, you're quickly, sweeping the leg and you want to lift him up. In boxing, you want to quickly, hit the cross or quickly hit the jab, right? That's what you want to do. You don't want to have these long, drawn out walks and everything. Try and avoid that stuff. You also want to lift extremely heavy. One of the main reasons type 1 tends to activate in terms of weightlifting is because you do crazy volume work. You do a bicep curl for 30 reps, 20 to 30 reps. Try not to go above the 20 rep zone with any weight, right? Try and have more intense days than volume days. Lift really heavy without dumb form, obviously, but lift really heavy. Don't do dumb form because I don't want you to break your back or destroy your spine or anything or damage any of your discs. Lift very heavy, but do it with intellectual, correct, and usable form. Now, this is a really good tip I give to my inner circle, which is to have 10 grams of creatine daily. Forget the studies that tell you 5. When I switched from 5 grams to 10 grams, I saw a noticeable increase of muscle fullness and strength. Go for 10 grams of creatine a day. And this is especially true because type 2X muscle fibers love creatine monohydrate. So whenever you have your creatine scoops, have 2 scoops of creatine a day instead of just 1. And by the way, if you're skinny, this stuff will really help you. It will help you so much. I remember when I used to be skinny fat and I had no knowledge of any of this stuff, and if only I had implemented it then, I would have had this physique 2 years ago, and today I would have a way better physique. But what would basically double XP this entire process is tripling your testosterone, and you do this through biogenesis, which is the internet's only holistic male health and fertility protocol, which also increases your testosterone tremendously. It took me from 400 to 1,223 nanograms per deciliter. That's over a 3x. And you can find biogenesis inside our home of Blackthorn Capital, which is the first link in the description. Wish not for a lighter load, but for a stronger back.